Definitely understandable. Let's try this one more time with Daryl. Daryl, you there?
Oh, yes. All right. Can you guys hear me better?
Yeah. No. It's still echoing, so. Jonathan Clark, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go ahead with a question here. You had many proteges in your career. Who do you feel out of all your proteges was your best one?
Oh, wow. If you look at the cover of my book, behind the picture of me standing there is a postage stamp mosaic of the guys that I managed throughout my career, and it's a diverse group and really a great group of guys that were, all of which were, enjoyed great success in the business. It's so hard to single out, one guy. I will always look fondly upon the Mongolian Stomper, because he was the guy that made the phone call and said, I need a manager, and have you ever thought about doing that, which I hadn't up to that point, and convinced me that there was a great opportunity in Dallas, and he wanted me to go in and teamed with him, which I did, and then again, never looked back from there. So I've had some crossroads in my career, and that was certainly one of them. I managed Abdullah the Butcher, had success with him, had a chance to go to Japan with him, and I guess because I'm best remembered as the leader of the Four Horsemen, which had to be the pinnacle of my managerial career, just to be out there, which I was for some single matches with Ric Flair when he was defending the world title. Those were special moments. And same thing with, with Tully Blanchard. Tully is, I think, very underrated in terms of his greatness, and outstanding performer in the business. And then, of course, Ole and Arn. And then when Ole left, there was Luger and eventually Barry Windham.
Definitely. Now, my next question for you is, what is your relationship with Jim Holiday?
Jim Holiday. That name sounds familiar.
He was your manager, apparently?
Well, you kind of caught me with a curveball on that one.
Stumped you on that one?
Yeah, you stumped me on that one.
Okay.
40-some years in the business, and like I say, I traveled all over this country, all over the world, and have met so many people. And one of my shortcomings, I'm sorry to say, is I sometimes forgetful of names. Most of the times I'll recognize a face, and it may take me a little time to put a face and a name together, but really I've met a lot of fantastic people over my career, and I'm sure there's a few names in there that I'm embarrassed to say have slipped my mind.
Okay. How about, let me go ahead with another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
What would you like? Okay, what was it like working for Jim Crockett and his promotion?
I enjoyed working for Crockett. I had a good relationship with him. I had, as I said, started in the Carolinas with Jim Crockett Sr., so I had the pleasure and the honor to be around him, and he was one of the most respected promoters in the business, and having met him and worked for him, I can understand why. And I left, and then at the time that I came back, well, actually before I left, Jim Crockett Sr. had passed away, and it ended up that the family ran the business, of which Jimmy Crockett Jr. was the head, and he had an incredible run. He brought Dusty Rhodes in, and the timing was such that I was able to come in there about the same time, and we had a phenomenal run. And when we were doing the programming for TBS and what was then just the World Championship Wrestling program, Crockett had an extensive syndicated network as well, and so we were able to run nationally and really compete on a level with what was then the World Wrestling Federation. That there was even a couple nights, one night in particular in Philadelphia, where we actually both organizations ran Philadelphia on the same night, and we were at the old convention hall, and they were at the Spectrum, I believe. And that particular night, Jim Cornette tells the story even better, because I think I was in the special match on that card against Jim Cornette. But on that given night, we both ran Philadelphia and we outdrew them, and that was, there was still some subtle competition in the business of guys wanting to, to be the best. And on that night, we outdrew them, and that was something that we were all very proud of.
Yeah. Definitely. How do you feel the wrestling world has changed since you broke in?
Well, change is inevitable in everything, and wrestling is no different. The style of wrestling changed. I learned early on, back when I first started, it was not uncommon to go for a year or two without a change in the world championship. And a lot of people thought, well, as the champion travels around and faces all these challengers and the title doesn't change hands, do you think the fans, might lose interest thinking that it's never going to happen? But it kind of worked the other way, that it was more important with the style of match that took place, and the great champions had the ability to go against the top challenger in the various regional territories and actually leave the challenger stronger than when they got there. In other words, he would come so close to beating the champion, but somehow the champion would survive and move on, whether it was a time limit draw or a match that was very close. And so the business has changed now. When I hear about a TV show, a live TV show that runs a couple hours and the world title changes 3 times in the period of 2 hours, I just, I shake my head. And the sad part is that once you go down the path, whether it's, frequent changes of the world title, or whether there's some things that the WWF/WWE has done with some of the women that, I don't even want to say borderline distasteful. Some of them were just outright distasteful. And once you go down that route, you can't pretend it never happened and turn around and come back. So a lot of things have happened in the world of professional wrestling that are part of that change that I thought were not necessarily for the better. But on any given night, you have 2 good performers that can go out there and have an old style match and recreate the magic that's always been, I think, the secret of the success of professional wrestling going back to when I first broke in the business. It's emotion, it's one-on-one, it's good versus evil, it's and again, the emotion and the storyline is such a big part of it. And if you can have a title that's meaningful and be going after a prize that's worthy of owning, these are the ingredients that bring around a successful wrestling environment.